Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So I'm going to jump straight into it today because today's video I've got a lot of information to unpack because today's video is all about player progression. In particular, me trying to use AI and trying to forecast, well, how much potential does a player have? My current version is version 8. I've managed to build a tool with a lot of data hidden in regards to all these bits and pieces that come into this, trying to put together a process that will help forecast what a player's overall top potential could be if all the stats and things that we currently have at the present day stay as they are. Where would they effectively end up at the end of their career? I've got a couple of players that I've tested in this model and I've been refining it and refining it and refining it, as you can see, version number 8, but it takes into account crawling the MFL white paper on all the details that come with this, as there's a lot of information to unpack on in here, lots of different variables that come into play, and as a result I've done lots of different formulas that involve weighting based on age, based on current how much potential has already been unlocked, how much they've already grown. There's so many factors that have gone into this, and I'm finally happy with the version now. I'm happy to share it with you. If you are interested in today's video's tool and you'd like to get access to it, I'm happy to make a version available publicly. I'll post it on Discord or share it on Twitter for those that are interested. It will be a version that you'll have to make your own copy of, so I'm not going to give you this master version of it at the time being. Please bear in mind though, it's a work in progress. I'm going to keep enhancing it and trying to refine it further and further. The more data I get, the more refined it will become. So, how does it work? Well, it takes into account lots of different variables. It takes into account the player's current age, what their current overall is, what their overall was at the start of their career, how many seasons they've been in the game, because I've also been factoring in how many training sessions a player has participated in. Some are estimated because I haven't owned the player for as long as they have existed in the game. Jalil Id here, he's been in the game for 8 seasons now, not factoring in this current season. And I don't have the past history on all the clubs, so I can only go off what I've actually got. I've just given current, in terms of contextual team data. I'm talking about the current managers, current team, top 16 average, what that looks like. I've factored that in. Same for opponents, like an average there. Most of this will have notes, as you can see, hovering over each sort of column to give you a bit of an idea, and I've tried to group them to a certain extent. Just try and give you a bit of the context and my reasoning behind some of the decisions that I've made. But I've done a number of training sessions, average match performance, number of minutes played, which again you can gather that from a player's page. So I've literally scrolled back through here. As you can see, Id here has been all the way back, it looks like at the inception of Play MFL. So I've gone back through and just crawled all the data I possibly can. I've got no idea how good the teams were when he played for these various teams here. I just know how many matches he's played, how many minutes, what his average rating was across the season. I don't know about opposition, but I'm just working with the numbers that I do have to try and factor something into place. I've also done an estimation of what the prime age of a player would be. You could probably play around with this one yourself based on how young a player was when they started in the game, I guess, as the MFL white paper sort of says. The distribution of a prime age can vary player to player based on where they start their career, as to so a younger player here, 16 years old, the average prime age is about 26. For a player that comes into the game around 24, the distribution is more heavily weighted towards the age of 28. I've just set it as a blank 26. The next refinement of the version is I'm going to start working into some automations that, based on the age a player came into the game at, what is the most likely weighted prime age for a player. Even though it can vary, it's all going to be guesswork at this point. We're never going to fully uncover it, but I wanted to do some forecasting. From that, I've then gone into seasons in the game. There is a lot more information if you really want to troll your way through it. I've hidden it because I don't think it all needs to be there. I think it just complicates things. But what it does mean is the final formula that it spits out at the end, you've got something more tangible. And if you really want to have a look at the formula, there you go. Have fun with that one. So, the end bit, the nitty-gritty, the bit that everyone wants to know, it's that estimated percentage chance of player growth potential. Like, how much potential does a player have? They're in buckets, because trying to finesse it down to a singular number, I don't think I'm going to get any degree of accuracy. I can't say this is going to be super accurate, but based on the data I currently have, it's as accurate as I can get it to this point, and it's all guesswork at the end of the day. So let's just take, we'll go for id because we've been talking about him. We can see the distribution here across between the percentage odds of him going up +1 or 2, 3 or 5, and this is for the rest of his career on the game. It's more heavily weighted, as you can see here, sort of potentially 3 to 5 plus overall is roughly where we're sort of estimating this. And the end bit, I suppose, is the bit people are interested in, is what's the estimated career top overall. To clarify, id came into the game as a 67 rated player. He's currently at 72. Estimation here at the moment is saying it's at 74. I have refined it down to a 2-digit figure, but if I put the decimal places back in, as you can see, it can be not as close to an overall round number, but for the sake of this video, that's what I've done. And I've done this for a variety of different players in different circumstances. Id's the one with the longest career database history that I've got. Going to go for another player that's got quite a bit of history, Bocinek. This is a chap that I've recently purchased. I liked his progression path. I used this tool to test it out before I purchased him. He's already gone up +1 since the mid-season break, because that's when I did purchase him. And I've put his progression in. He's started out as a 62 rated player, and he's up to 66 now. He's had +1 growth during the week or so since the mid-season break. And the estimation was he came out as a 70 rated player. I was happy with that. He comes out as a +1 at centre back anyway, and he's quite versatile for being a centre mid, a centre back, and a right back. So it's perfect what I was looking for. One thing that is to bear in mind is when it comes to seasons in the game, the longer a player has been in the game, the higher the confidence modifier there is in the overall weighting of the scoring, because we've got more data to work with. We've got a larger sample size over a larger period of time. Anything beyond 4 seasons, which is just going to be, it's got the 1.0 confidence mod. Anything less, it does refine that. So if I changed this to, I don't know, he's been in the game for 4 seasons, the outcome should vary slightly. There we go. If we're 4 seasons in at this current progression rate, it'd say it'd actually come out as a 69 rated player. So let's put that accurate information back in there. I've gone for a player, Lothar Brunner, who I got, I opened it just before rollover day because I just couldn't help myself. I pre-epaculated and opened him because I got him as a giveaway reward. If I go to Lothar, where is he? Here he is. He came into the game at 24 years of age, 63 rated. He's only got +1 during the course of the season, but I've put all his facts and figures in, and it spat it all out, that he'd come out as potentially a 70 rated player. I mean, this will probably bearing in mind that if these variables stayed the same, if his average match rating stayed at 7.2, if he carried on playing roughly the same number of minutes, and he carried on being in training sessions, and he was still in a team where that's the average rating of the team, because the top 16 average for the training penalties that you can get in within your team, and same for the opponents for match XP. All these factors, if they stayed as they were, my tool is projecting roughly around the estimated top career estimation of 70 rated. I went for Hans Rudolph as well. He is a player that I've had for a season and a half now. I've got him in season 5's mid-season transfer window. He's made a lot of progression while I've had him in that time. He's gone up from a 56 up to a 60 rated player now. 60 rated? Is that right? Oh, he was higher rated than I thought. I had him ahead, he was a 59 rated player. There you go. So he's gone up to a 60 rated player now. I know how much match experience he's had. I've managed him the entire time. He's performed rather well. He's a rotation player at the moment for my main Spark side, but he's coming out rather favourably. But it's even with these quite impressive stats so far, he's still coming out as a 63 rated player. So say in a season and a half time, I'm just going to put him in 3 seasons in. It's coming towards the age of what that'll make him 29, almost 30. It's not really moving the needle much. He's still going to come out roughly at that based on the current, when he came into the game, where his prime age is, how much progression he's all had. We're sort of forecasting he's tapped up a lot of that potential. Interesting one in this goalkeeper, Georgie Mew, I don't know, no idea. Got him in the mid-season transfer window. I think it was the reward pack for MFL when they ran the giveaway on Twitter for the Paris meet and stuff. I was fortunate to win in that. So I've put his stats in. He's only had 3 appearances. He's only been in for a couple of, but maybe just over a week. Yeah, a week. He's had 7 training sessions. Put the stats in as it were. Where we're currently up to. Technically that should be 0.5, so I'm going to change that now. And he's forecasting at the moment he might come out as a 62 rated. Is that? Chose the wrong one. 68 rated goalkeeper. That's what I'm probably going to monitor over a period of time. How I'm going to use this tool is, yes, to do this to sort of say, well, how much potential do I reckon some of these players have? I'm going to trust the data more if a player's been in the game longer, or had more minutes, or had very consistent match rating and been in a strong side. Those factors are going to tell me that we have been tapping into the potential, so I know what the current progression path we're seeing so far is going to help us isolate how well the person's doing. Farid Ben Ammar was, again, he's done half a season, got end of season 5, start of the season, I can't remember which, but came in as a 54 rated player, 22 years old, he's a regular in my reserves team. He's more than competitive at this level. What's that, 16 games, 17 goals for a team that is about halfway down the lower third of the overall league in terms of top 16. Doing rather well there. So I wanted to see how did he come out. Again, I've only got half a season's worth of data at this point, so we need a bit more to be sort of eking that out. Comes out as 62 rated player. If I put in that I'd had him in the game for 2 seasons, however, it drops his potential down again. Estrada, one I got with one of my, what do you call them, starter packs. When I first started the game, because I came in halfway through season 5 and started playing this game and just fell in love with it. So he's season and a half? 1 season. Effectively 1 season, because we're halfway through. Anyway, maths, you can tell I was getting lost in the trenches with this one. But he's made quite a bit of growth already. He's been shooting up. He's currently 50. He was 46. He's gone out on loan this season, and all his progressions come from this season. Not the highest match rating, so a bit of variance there from that one. Not loads of matches. In a good training environment to a certain extent. It's starting to reach that cap now that he might slow down, but very competitive in terms of opposition. Coming out as a 53, so we've almost fully tapped out now on his overall potential, given that he's 25 years old. What I'm going to continue doing now, though, is when I am looking for players, I often have been using my transfer strategy to look for players who, say, are brand new to the game. I'm going to go grab one quickly. McCafferty here. He's one I picked up in the mid-season transfer window. He was listed by someone. I liked his age. I liked his stats in general. Thought he could do a job for me. He'd only just come in. And he was out. I've just put him in my Stone team for the time being, for that good training environment. Even if he's not getting the max XP, he needs the good training environment. I think a chap like this is going to do rather well. So what I thought I'd do, because there is literally no game time on this chap, is just throw him in to show him how it all comes through. So let's chuck him in. He's 22 years old. He's currently 66, and he's not progressed. He's been in. He's had a week's worth of training. We can't give anything for that one, so might leave it blank. I know that for my Stone team, it is around the 72, so I'm just going to estimate while we're here, and the average for the league is about 72.5, as I recall, and he's been in this game 0.5 seasons. I did this when I was initially scouting him, with basically zeros across the board apart from the contextual team data, and he was spitting him out about a 72 or 73. We've got a few training sessions on board, so that's going to pull things up a little bit. But if this chap suddenly next season it won't work, because I'd have to put the estimations in there and it would skew the data, but I was happy with the amount of progression this chap could turn into, and if he got the increases in the right areas, that it would be quite a handy player. And it was worth the cost that it was on the market for, because I did the cost assessment. So yeah, people have been asking me about this. They've been asking about player progression, anything that they've got that they think might work. I've been playing around with it for weeks. I'm happy enough to share this version now. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's as accurate as it could possibly be. But it's the version that I'm happiest with, that I believe you get a reasonable forecast, a reasonable guess, effectively, as to what the potential is of a player. There's no guarantees. There's too many variables to isolate that. I think in particular being in the right training environment. I think training is incredibly important as far as I'm concerned in regards to the white paper and the weightings and of match rating against training and things of that sort of ilk. I think it's quite very, very important. Matches, of course, being 50% of the XP. No one's going to play 100% of matches because they can't because of their fitness, but keep capping out on how many games. I can't remember what the number of games it needs to be to get the max total XP for a season for matches, but again, then it's all based on average rating. I put him in a very solid McCafferty in particular. I go and put him in a solid stone, competitive stone, or a solid ice team, or stronger than average ice team. I think he'll do really, really well, and his progression will be perfect, and that's what I'm planning to do with him next season. So, if this is something that you're interested in, please do let me know. I'm more than happy to make a version shareable. But I want to see what the interest is first. What I'm also looking for is to get some more subscribers, if I'm honest. I want likes. I want more subscribers seeing my videos. I'm getting a good amount of volume of watches, but comparative to my number of subscribers, works out about anywhere from 25 to 50%, which ain't bad, but I'd like it to be higher. So if I get enough responses to this video, and people reach out to me on Twitter and things like that, I'm happy to make a version that you can have a play around with yourself. If you wanted to modify it any further, you could literally go to the file, download it, upload it to your AI tool of choice, ask it to analyze it, and start discussing with it how you could look to perform some refinements to the model that I've put out here. I'm not precious about this. I just want to help. I think it's interesting. It's a passion project, and I've got no problem with people picking it up and taking it a step further. There'll be people out there who are more qualified than I am with these sorts of things. But yeah, that's the video for today. So if you did like it, do let me know. If you do, happy to be brand new, I got my first referral. Thank you very much. But here's my referral code. If you don't want to use mine, totally fine. Use someone else's if you happen to be new. Don't miss out on that free play when you first get started, especially if it happens to be a young, high potential player. You can put him through my projection tool and see how good you reckon he's going to be. But anyway, that's everything for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.